try to do once a month, where we share a lot of knowledge about what's going on with our history. If you don't know your history, you don't know where you come from, you don't know how to act. Also, give solutions to a lot of common problems in the black community, and about a lot of current events that are going on. And we're not just going to talk about the problems. We're going to come with comprehensive solutions that how we can do better and be better. My name is Notch Mogul. I'm on Instagram as Notch Mogul. This is my co-host, Melanin Moment.
Yes.
And she also does her thing. And so I invited her to be a guest on this because she has a pretty sharp opinion about, things. She has some good facts that I think that can help us get our message across to the whole black community, and as well as anybody that else is watching that is non-black, that we can, you can learn a few things that are going on in our culture that can help you better relate to us and what's going on in this world today, in this unpleasant world. But I'm the director of a movie called The Standard, independent black film, also author of a book series called Life Lessons. Everything's going to be available to you guys soon. That I want you guys to just pay attention, because my goal is to try to educate, not be a leader and preach, but to try to educate and share information. So I'm just the messenger. So I'm going to give you facts and give you my opinion, as well as my co-host. She's going to give you the facts and opinions that you can either research and try to find and come up with your own opinion. And then what we want to do at the end of this is we want to be able to agree to disagree. You see, without any function, without any ill feelings, because everybody has a right to their own opinions. So, the first topic of discussion is, do we retaliate against police brutality when it strikes home? What are we supposed to do as black men, as black fathers, when they attack? They attack your wife or your daughter or your son, and they slam them down on the head. What are we supposed to do as black men? Well, we have two different opinions, and I'll give you my opinion. As a black man, you're supposed to be the provider, protector, and the leader of the black family unit. That was your God-given place. When these type of things happen, you have two choices. You can either kumbaya, pray it away, or you can stand up. I believe, and I strongly believe this, black men, we need to stand up and take some course of action. Because protesting, economic boycotting, that's not going to bring your child back. And a lot of people can say, oh, well, fighting ain't going to bring the child back either. But at the same time, the psychological damage, you cannot walk around normal and functional every day knowing that your child was taken out of this world and they're at home sitting at the table with their children. They're going on vacation. Like I looked at Breonna Taylor's killers, these officers raided her home, wrong house, the person was supposed to be in custody. That's a long story. These guys are at the beach, taking pictures at the beach. So what I'm saying is, these people are getting a paid leave vacation for murdering black people every day. Now, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, it wouldn't happen with me. I'll have to answer to God for that. At the same time, there's people that will try to, say, hey, well, you'll go to jail, and what good are you going to do in jail? I believe the saying that Malcolm X said. He said like this: justice is when they feel the same pain that you feel, when they take the same losses that you take. And I believe in that strongly, and I support that, because you are not going to be able, there is not enough praying. I believe in God, I'm a firm believer, but there's not that much divine intervention that's going to have you psychologically repaired once your child is taken from you, once your wife is taken from you, once your mama gets slapped in the head. So I think that you should go hold court in the street and put in work. What do you say?
Okay, so I would have to disagree. And my main point is like he mentioned, as far as if you go through the court system and you try to find justice, find justice through the court system and hold them accountable, using the legal standpoint of it, then you're not going to get your child back, right? Same thing. If you go out and kill that officer, you're still not going to get your child back. And I'm also thinking from the perspective of, what do certain racist police, what do they want to see you do? They either want to see you gone or they want to control you. So you can either end up in prison or you can end up dead. What good are you if you're dead or in prison? And then even the fact, say if that officer killed your cousin. Okay, you go out and retaliate, you kill that officer. Now you're either dead or in prison. Then another racist officer goes out and kills, I don't know, a brother of yours. What are you going to do then? I mean, it's the same effect, right? You still have that same pain and anger, right? But there's no good that you'll do because you end up in prison or you end up dead. And so I understand as far as being patient and trying to wait for the judicial system to act on these injustices and really hold these officers accountable. I agree, it's taken a long time. But anything worth waiting for, waiting for is worth having. So in a sense of, I know I'm going to press through. I'm going to strategically think of a solution and try to fight the injustices within this country, because it doesn't just involve one person. Like I just said, as far as if you go and retaliate against that one officer that killed that one brother, what's going to make them stop or make their counterparts or their coworkers stop from killing 5 other black people? It's just going to escalate. It's just going to keep escalating after that. Retaliation doesn't have a limit to it. So there's no point of them saying, okay, well, you killed one of ours. Okay, now we will give you the justice you deserve. No, they're going to say, okay, we see you as that. We see you as a violent person. And you just proved their point now. You just proved them right. Because they see, okay, well, now I'm a violent person because I go out and kill someone. Now, if it's a sense, now I'm going to say if it's a sense of defending yourself, saying you're in a situation where the officer is, say, brutalizing your brother or your son, I would say defend yourself. Get that officer off your son, in a sense. And then also, if you're going to have to do what you got to do in that moment, then so be it. But that's the difference between defending yourself and retaliation. I agree with defending yourself in the situation in that moment, but retaliation only leads to more problems.
Well, okay, I'm going to disagree in the perspective that you said that I think you're giving white people too much power. And I'm like this, just like I was explaining to you before we got here. Those are cowards. And when a coward sees the type of bloodshed or gets a bully, for instance, they're bullies. So when you sock a bully in his nose, he going to sit up there and think twice. Mm-hmm. The bully's going to be like, hold up, I just got socked. I can't deal with this shit. Mm-hmm. They're going to, and so then when his partner, the bully, tries to do something, and then you go and handle your business with them and put in work on them, then they're most likely, because it's very rare that you find humans. See, white people in movies, they seem indestructible. They seem like they're just these Terminators, but they're not. Those white people that commit these heinous acts and crimes are nothing but cowards. And as far as depending on the justice system, we've had thousands of thousands of proposals for legislation giving us justice and freedom. And how are we going to depend on a system or believe in a system? I think that's foolish to believe in a system that is acquitting these officers that are caught red-handed. I mean, Walter Scott, the officer said that he reached for his taser, but after he shot Walter Scott, he went to his car and got his taser and placed it. Mm-hmm. This same system let that officer go home. You see, so how are we going to, and Tamir Rice, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Mike Brown, there are hundreds of different cases. So we can't wait and depend on something that doesn't work. Because when we go to try to get justice, it's just like a bad check. It bounces every time we try to cash it.
Okay, so I'm going to bring up the fact that you said if a bully socks you in the nose, you should, of course, defend yourself, right? I agree with defending yourself at that moment. Mm-hmm. If a bully is beating you down, I'm not going to say just stand there and take it and say, please stop. Right. You defend yourself. Like I just mentioned in the scenario with if a man who sees his son being brutalized by a police officer, you defend yourself. So I'm not against defending yourself. I'm against retaliation. Retaliation is you waiting a week or two and you are going to retaliate and hurt that officer or kill that officer after a week has passed. And then with Breonna Taylor's incident, Her boyfriend ended up shooting at the officer, right?
Right.
But the charges were dropped. Why? Because it was out of self-defense. Imagine if Breonna Taylor was retaliated and a week later went and go killed those officers. Do you think he would have got charges dropped against him? Do you think that he would have been found not guilty? Do you think that he would have been still out here trying to fight for her justice?
Because those facts would have never changed, depending. So you can't change the facts of a situation. You can't change the situation because those facts that got him freed were still. You can't say, okay, well, we don't like what you did out here, so we're going to change the facts.
So why is
here.
he still trying to retaliate?
Well, I don't call it retaliation because if someone, you have to put a stop. In war, the only way you're going to have peace is to go to war. So you have two people that are warring. Somebody's going to have to win, somebody's going to have to lose, and then you'll come to a happy medium, hopefully, and then it will stop. And then you will have ceasefire and the war will stop because somebody's going to get tired of dying. And that's what I think that we, as black people, we've been docile too long. So I think that, yeah, we're going to lose some people, so what? 2 tears in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? 2 tears in a bucket, oh well. But once we start losing enough people and they start losing enough people, then I think people are going to be like, hey, wake up. We have to stop this because this stuff is crazy. But I understand what you're talking about. So we agree to disagree on that point.
We agree to disagree.
Yeah, okay. So our next point...